Well, I hope you guys are strapped in. What did we get recently? We got something we should have all been happy about. That's what we got. We got the announcement that we're getting The Last of Us 2. Yep, The Last of Us 2 is going to be coming out probably around about 2018. And I was really stoked about this. I was really happy. I thought, great, we're getting one of my favourite games is getting a sequel. And if they do the story well, then it'll be a great game. And I've got no reason to suspect that the story won't be well done. So, there was me sitting there thinking, way, great, excellent. I'm so happy about this. And I really liked the teaser trailer. And I thought very little more of it. Then the responses started to appear because guess what? Are you waiting? Are you ready? The lead character in The Last of Us 2 is going to be Ellie. Not Joel, Ellie.
A woman? It's a woman? I don't want to play as a woman. I want to fantasize. I want to be a big, hard, tough bloke with loads of guns, and I want to pretend I'm something I'm not. So I don't want to be a woman. That's just beyond the pale.
Really? Is that how you're going to respond to this? One of the best games of recent years is getting a sequel, and you're butthurt because the main character, the main focus of the narrative, is a woman, Ellie, who incidentally we also got to play as in the previous game. We played as Ellie for a bit in the first game and in the add-on for the first game as well. And we got some more of her backstory, which was, I thought, very interesting. But all piss taking aside, let's just take a moment and think, well, why have they decided to make the main character a woman? Well, we all know that Neil Druckmann has Anita Sarkeesian kind of whispering in his ear a bit. How much of an influence she has, I couldn't tell you, to be honest. And for those of you who don't know Anita Sarkeesian, she's caused a bit of a ruckus because she has these feminist ideas about the way in which we should be approaching gaming and how we can change gaming. And if I'm being honest, I think a lot of them are quite crass and not very well thought out. And, well, when someone starts producing images of their ideal female character and it looks like an amorphous blob, then, I have to question her ideas. And then if you actually look at the way she approaches these things, she's not interested in getting involved in a conversation, it seems to me. Her videos are very much, I've got this opinion, you have to accept this opinion. It's very Marxist, actually. If you look at the way she approaches it, she said things like, all things are racist, all things are sexist, all things are homophobic, and you have to point them all out. And that is a very Marxist idea. Marx had this idea that all things are political, even by omission. So if you're watching sports, it's political because you're not engaging in politics. And that's political in itself, a political act in itself. So Sarkeesian kind of has this same approach to feminism. And it's a strand that runs through feminism. And it's a strand which I actually find it a little bit tedious. I, for a long time, would consider myself broadly to be a feminist or to fit in with the idea of what feminism was about, which is basically equality for women as far as I can see it. But Anita Sarkeesian takes it a little bit further. And you've got this idea of intersectionality where, you can't be racist if you're black and you can't be sexist if you're a woman, this kind of idea, which is patent nonsense, isn't it? I'm white, I'm male and I'm straight. I still have opinions on all these issues. Funny enough, Anita, you'd actually find that I probably agree with you on a lot of them. I don't agree with homophobia. I don't agree with sexism. I don't agree with any of these things when it comes to, putting one group of society down over another. So I find myself in a strange position where on the one hand, I would agree with some of these ideas, but I really don't agree with the methods. And a lot of the methods are about basically shutting anyone up who disagrees. But I will come back to that idea in a minute. The idea of having this kind of closed, almost cult-like idea. With Anita Sarkeesian, it's the patriarchy. There's this conspiracy by white, straight males to keep everybody else down. But anyway, the question we have to ask there is how much of those ideas coming from Anita Sarkeesian have affected the production and the development of this game. And, well, I don't think that Neil Druckmann and the rest of the team are stupid enough. They've obviously shown themselves over time to be highly intelligent people. and I don't think they're stupid enough to allow themselves to be driven by any agenda specifically. I think they're artists, and artists need to be sensitive to the issues that are prevailing within a society at any given time. And if those issues inform your story, they inform your narrative, then that's great. I've got no problem with that. It's if the narrative becomes controlled by the issue and then you get hit over the head. If anyone's read any feminist fiction, some's better than others. If you read The Handmaid's Tale, that's a pretty decent story. But if you read something like Sally Miller Gearhart's The Wonderground, well, it's interminable, it's dull, and it's really hard to get through. It's just turgid, to be honest. Part of it might be that it doesn't speak to me as a male, I don't know, but it didn't actually inspire me in any way. It put me to sleep, frankly. So what I'm saying is, if the agenda is informing the narrative, then that's fine by me. If the agenda is driving the narrative, then we've got a problem. But then we look at the responses, and coming back to the responses, and well, this I find very interesting, because we've got people coming out and saying things. Well, it starts with, I'm not interested in playing as a woman. Well, think about that. If you've got women who have the same attitude, I'm not interested in playing as a man, is it any wonder we haven't got very many female gamers? And perhaps we do want more female characters in gaming in order to draw more women in and have a more diverse community. I would say that's probably a good idea. But would you actually question this idea of having a woman main character in a film or a TV programme? When Carol is the main focus of the narrative in The Walking Dead, for instance, would you question that? Would you not tune in that week because Carol's the main focus and she's a woman? Do you not watch Alien because Ripley's a woman? To me, that's patent nonsense. It's insanity. Why would you do that? You're cutting your nose off to spite your face, aren't you? Who cares? Really? Who cares? Oh, well, you've got to care because they're trying to feminize us. It's the communists. And that brings me to the next bit. Some of the reactions to this were insane. Genuinely insane. We get the thing, oh, most gamers are men, and I've already dealt with that in some respects. If you're not having female characters, then maybe women aren't quite so interested. Maybe we do want a mixture of characters. But we get this idea that it is a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy by the gaming industry, by the entertainment industry in general, by the communists. I actually heard someone say that on a YouTube video. It's a conspiracy by the communists to feminize us. So Naughty Dog aren't making the best game they think they can that is informed by current mores and ideas. What they're actually doing is they're trying to force us into becoming more feminized, and we're all going to rush out. I am, certainly. When I finish doing this video, I'm going to rush out and I'm going to speak to the doctor and I'm going to say, I want me knob cut off, and I'm going to go and become a woman because the communists have now convinced me that I must be feminized. Yep, because Ellie's a woman. Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it? But the interesting thing there is, if you actually listen to what I just said there, and then you listen to what Anita Sarkeesian has said, Anita Sarkeesian says that the industries out there are patriarchal. It's a patriarchal society that has this conspiracy to keep women and people of colour down. If you look at the other side of the argument, they're saying it's the feminists and the communists, the Marxists, who are trying to feminize us and keep us all down. Isn't that interesting? That the two ends of the argument are making exactly the same point from completely different ends. That it's a conspiracy against them. That everybody's conspiring against them. Has anyone ever stopped to consider that maybe that's not the case at all? That nobody's conspiring against you, it's just the way things are. If you actually look at the gaming industry, yes, of course, traditionally we've had more men playing games. So it becomes a cycle. You have more men playing games, so the games are aimed more at men because that's the market, and the money goes for the market. So what Naughty Dog are doing is they're trying to diversify a bit. They're trying to bring in different characterizations, and good on them, you know? Broadening it out, broadening our horizons as gamers. Oh dear, perish the thought that we might actually be made to think for a bit. Jesus Christ. I look at this idea that we're being feminized or the patriarchy is trying to keep us down, and I just laugh, honestly. It's insane. So ask yourself this: have Naughty Dog got a good track record? Yeah? Have they got a good track record? Have they made good games? Have you enjoyed their games? Are they full of action? Are they fun? Yeah? If the answer is no, then you may as well not bother with this video. If the answer is yes, and I would imagine that most gamers would say yes, then maybe we should just give them the benefit of the doubt here and think that the guys writing this game are probably more interested in the narrative drive of the game. The narrative focus of the game is to try and drive a story forward that engages the gamer, whether they be male, female, gay, straight, transgender, whatever they might be. Maybe they're trying to make a story that will engage people. Give them some enjoyment, make them think a little bit perhaps, I don't know. Not bang them over the head, but just give them something to enjoy that is thought-provoking and fun. And that will push gaming forward. Because gaming can be quite two-dimensional at times, let's be honest. It can be a little bit dull in terms of the way it makes you think. And I've been crying out for years for games to be a little bit more engaging intellectually. So if Naughty Dog are pushing that envelope a little bit, then great, fantastic. And we owe them the benefit of the doubt. And the reason we owe them the benefit of the doubt is that they have produced great game after great game. And if this one comes out and it's shit, then it comes out and it's shit and we can all criticise it for that then. But in the meantime, let's just let them get on with it, let them make their game, and wait and see and stop getting all butthurt and crying over something that has not hurt us. Because it's patent nonsense. The patriarchy is not trying to keep you down. The gay agenda, whatever that might be, is not trying to keep you down. The reality is a lot muddier and a lot more difficult to get your head round than that. There's all sorts of different people out there with different agendas and different ideas. And if we all have a conversation, we'll move forward. As Sam Harris puts it, civilization advances through a series of successful conversations. So let's stop bashing each other over the head, pointing at each other and basically saying that that guy over there is the enemy because he disagrees with me, and let's try and have some conversation. Because if we do that, we'll all be better off for it. At least that's what I think. What do you guys think? Come in the comments and let me know. And in the meantime, while I'm waiting for you to have your say, I'm going to go and see my doctor about my sex change operation. And I'll speak to you guys again soon. Bye.